Welcome back to Scale Out a Guy's Workbench. Today I'm working on one of the recent kits that I picked up at Walmart. I was in Mount Pleasant, Michigan at the Walmart there. That's the only one that I have discovered in my area that actually has model kits. And well, I'm going to show you one of them today. That's what we're going to get started on. And it's the MPC 79 Chevy Nova. Now this is a 2-in-1, so you can build it as a stock or a street machine version. This kit has 96 parts, so it's a relatively low part count, so this should be a quick build. Let's take a look at what's in the box. Gives you a V8 engine with dual quad option. It's a pretty extensive decal sheet. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's start out with the body. Now 77 to 79 Novas weren't my favorite body styles. My favorite kind of went away right around 1974, 75. And of course earlier models like 68, 69s. But here's the 79 body. Now this looks pretty clean. There is a few little lines that has to be cleaned up. That's typical where they attach the roof. There's usually a mold line in that area, and that's typical. I already went through and knocked out some of the flash. There wasn't a whole bunch. I did have to take care of where it was attached to the sprue down here. They were quite large. So I knocked those out real quick. Here's your chassis. Now it's nice because it's plain. That means all of the suspension and exhaust parts are separate. But it does have preset holes for your metal axles. Why they have one way up here inside the fender well is kind of a mystery to me. Usually they're like here and maybe lower. To have it up that high, it's kind of strange. Don't know why that is. Like I said, this is only 96 parts, so there's not a whole lot to them. Usually it comes in several bags in the box. This all came in one. So here's your interior tub. You got the faux carpet on the inside there. The door panels are kind of light, but they're just deep enough that you can kind of get in there and kind of detail them up a little bit. So yeah, and there's, yeah, of course, a little bit of flash. I don't mean to be harping on the flash, but you know, guys, I like to point out that stuff to you so you know when you buy your 79 Nova kit or any other kit that I have on my channel, if it has flash, I'll point it out to you so you know what to expect. Now, some kits don't have it, some kits have a lot. This one is starting to look like it's going to have a lot. See, and there's some more on the seats. That's quite deep. Can you see that? And yeah, there's quite a bit there. Hood scoop. And speaking of hood scoop, here's your hood and your small block. Probably a 350. That gives you an option with a single carburetor intake, and then we saw on the box it gives you the dual carburetor intake. We haven't come across that yet. Oh, here it is. It's part of this tree here, right here. Your rear suspension. Last styrene parts tree. Gives you what looks to be a that a spoiler? I don't see any mounts for it though. traction bars. That's kind of cool. Next up, now they give you 6 tires, and at first glance they all look the same size, but if you compare them, this one and this one are a little bit bigger than the remaining 4. That's because the street version takes these 4. The stock version, I should say, stock version takes these 4. If you're doing the street machine version, you take the bigger tires and put them on the rear. Or you can just do that with the stock version too. Doesn't matter. Next up is your one-piece glass, although you could, they made the little runners here kind of thin, so you could theoretically cut them and put these as 2 individual pieces and eliminate this in the middle. Next up is your decal sheet, and as it was illustrated on the box, you get red, white, and black stripes. You get decals, plenty of model name callouts, 4 different license plates, headlights and side markers. So that's pretty extensive. It's nice to have an expanded decal sheet like that. Last up is your assembly instructions. Seems pretty straightforward. All right. I haven't really decided on a color yet. I haven't really sat down and thought about it, but maybe we'll go with something like what's on the box art, that yellow, or maybe the green, or maybe we can do, I don't know, something red. Copper color. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. I have a plethora of paints here, and I can mix and match a custom color if I need to, if the muse strikes me. So let's get some cleanup done, some sub-assemblies done. We'll head over to the paint booth, and we'll get a coat of primer laid down on all of this and start building. I'll see you over there. You know, guys, I totally forgot all about the chrome parts tree. I don't know why. I had it sitting right over here to my right and totally overlooked it. But here it is. It gives you 2 sets of wheels. So it gives you stock wheels and the street machine type. They look like a slotted, 5-slotted mag wheel. There's your carburetors. And it gives you like lake pipe type exhaust system. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started on this. Alright fellas, we're back with the 79 Nova here. I have a lot of the interior parts and pieces already painted, and I just wanted to give you a quick look at those. I'm going with a two-tone tan interior, well actually three-tone. The carpet's different color than the seats and the etc, etc, etc. And I've been flirting around with trying out a new paint, and I know a lot of you guys already use this kind of paint, and I've asked a lot of questions because I've never used it before, and I found out, well, hold on just a second. Okay, like I was saying, I found out that, well, a lot of guys said, you know, there's certain primers you need to use with this paint, and etc, etc. So I'm going to show you what I got, and pardon the lid. When I went to take it off the can, it just literally crumbled in my hand. But this is what I got, and this is the Forest Green Pearl, and I bought this for a specific car, something that I'm going to be working on here in the very near future. It's the John Wick Chevelle, but I bought this for that car, and I tried to take the lid off. It literally just crumbled in my hands. But everybody told me, oh yeah, use the Rust-Oleum sealer primer, which I have around here somewhere. It's not right within the arm reach here. So I thought, okay, I'll give that a try. So I did some test spoons, and this is what I got with the Rust-Oleum filler primer and that paint. And then I went and used some of my old standby, the Touch and Tone primer. This paint works with the Touch and Tone primer. No issues there. Now this did have on the left hand side, now both of them actually, let me put them side by side here. Both of them in the center, I did the left side of each spoon with brushed on Future Floor Polish. Just on the left side. And then after that cured, I hit it with a coat of the Meguiar's Mirror Glaze that I use. And that's what you get. So you can probably see the dividing line on this one, not so much on this one. This gives a little bit darker, richer color than the Rust-Oleum primer did, which is weird because the Rust-Oleum primer was a little bit darker than the Touch and Tone, but it gives a little bit richer color. So I decided to take it one step further, and I did one more spoon last night, and I did something today with this spoon. Now here it is. This is the, now don't pay any attention to the little lines. I dropped the thing on the floor while it was still a little tacky, and it got some pet hair on it. And that's to be expected when you have a couple of cats and a couple of dogs. But this is the Touch and Tone primer. One coat of Touch and Tone primer, one coat of Duplicolor, that Duplicolor paint, and two coats of the Spray-On Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer. Now I haven't polished this or anything. I don't know if you guys can see how shiny that is. Let me see. Yeah, you can see that now. So this is the color that I'm going to go with on this Nova. And this is the treatment I'm going to give it. Now, I'm going to wait because I just sprayed this about 2 hours ago. It's dry to the touch, but I want to wait and see. I'm going to let this kick off for a little while longer, and I'm going to hit it with a coat of that Meguiar's, and let's see how much more of a shine I can get out of that. That looks pretty darn good for just a real quick spoon experiment. So let's get over to the paint booth, and we'll get the Duplicolor paint applied to the body, and we're going to go from there. So yeah, just a quick update. The chassis, I have the chassis inside the body, so that's going to be painted. I've already got everything primed out, as you already know, and we're going to shoot the top coat here in a moment. Alright fellas, I just got back from that paint booth, got that first coat of clear on there. I'm going to put one more coat on there after this sets up. Give you another look at it. Now this is dry, but I want to put one more coat on there just to give it a little bit more kick. So I'm just going to let that sit there for tonight. Been working on this suspension, and let me move the camera here so you can get a little bit better look at it. It has been a pain in the butt, and what I mean by that is it gives you two hole settings for your rear axle, and according to the assembly instructions, it wants you to go ahead and put the axles in and everything. So I did that, but I wanted to go with the set of holes that would push the axle this way, so it would give you that little bump in the back, you know, a little rake in the back. But when you do that, it causes these pins to not want to stick in. Now, I originally glued the rear end into it and then tried to put the wheels with the metal axle in, and found out that it wouldn't go in until I popped a couple of these pins back out. Let me show you what I mean. Get a pin here, one back here, one back here, and the springs go through the holes there. Well, once you put this in here, these want to pop out. So I have them clamped in place, and they're not exactly easy to clamp because the pins are a little bit extra long, as you saw. So you have to kind of go offset, and the slightest little thing causes these clamps to go crazy. Now, as far as the front end goes, this lower control arm here has a long pin down here. And there's a hole in the frame, and there's a hole up here in the cross member. Let me take this clamp off so you can see what I'm talking about. Right in this area here, there's a hole in the cross member. And so you have to get the pin on here into that hole. This pin is pretty easy to locate. And then, I don't know if you can see it or not, back in here, there's a piece that goes up into the fender well, and it glues on to the end of your control arm. And then the pin for your axle goes through to the inside right here where it glues in on both sides. And so to get all that together and hold it together is a little bit of a trick, but once you get it in place it'll stay. But I'm just putting the clamps on there as a precaution just until the glue cures. That was pretty easy comparatively speaking to the rear end. You'd think that the rear end would be easy because it's just 4 pins and you just locate it and pop it in place. But if you put it in place without the axle in there, you can't get the axle in. If you put the axle in and then try to put this in place, those pins don't want to stay down. So you, just a heads up, you have to clamp it in place until that glue cures, and then you should be good to go. Alright, that's it for this so far. I got the interior finished up. Let me give you a shot of that. I went ahead and on the dash, it's got molded in speedometer, but it's got the decals, so I decided to go with the decals. Got one for the radio, one for the windshield washer, or windshield wiper, excuse me, controls over on the other side. You can't really see it. And the steering wheel doesn't have a definitive hole that it glues into. So what you have to do is you have to glue it into the dash in that little valley in there. And that holds it in place. So there's the interior. I took a little liberty on this. I know that the 1.1 car, that doesn't have a chrome strip across here, but I went ahead and put one in. I surrounded the dash gauges and stuff with the chrome trim. Yeah, a little bit of artistic liberty there. And that's about it. Now when I painted these seats, the paint was a matte finish. I went ahead and put a single coat of Future Floor Polish on there. Now it didn't shine them up real bad. I mean, you know, it's not real super shiny or anything, but it just gives you just enough of a sheen to make it look like it might be leather. So there you go. I also did the door panels all the way around. Did not do this. Left that the matte finish. But I did do this surface and the wheel well and the door cards. This little piece across the back. And oh, one other thing. You may or may not have this problem, but when I went to take this off the tree, it took a chunk out of this back corner here. So, you know, and I was being real careful with my little snipper. So be mindful of that. I tried to fix it, but I wasn't too successful. But once you get it in the body, this sits all the way back in the trunk area, so you don't see it anyway. So I didn't really worry about getting that perfectly fixed. I just kind of globbed some glue in there and kind of mashed it around a little bit and give it a little swipe with a sanding stick, and that was about it. Like I said, it goes up into the rear deck lid there, and you're not going to see it because you only see about that much. All of this back here is out of sight. So there's the dash. Oh, and one other thing. In the direction sheet, now let me see if I can find that in here. I'm kind of out of sequence because I was waiting for paint to dry and etc., etc. Now it says right here, remove right vertical vent by sanding smooth for a more accurate build. Well, I didn't see that part until I got to this step, and I had already had everything painted. And I didn't want to have to sand anything and then have to repaint. So I have all the vents. No big deal. So it's not a more accurate build. But it is my build, so that's the way it's going to be. Anyway, I have the engine finished. I have everything pretty much set to go. Just have the final little things like the catalytic converter, because I'm going with the stock exhaust. And then we're on to the final assemblies. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this stuff set and let the glue cure, and I'll be right back. All right, fellas, guess what time it is? It's bare metal foil time. Now, I've been looking at this body, and it's deceiving, but there is quite a few pieces of chrome work that need to be done. Each wheel well, around the windows, that's top and bottom, front and back. Now, there's nothing really back here or too much on the front, but around the windows, that's quite a bit of footage there. So let's get started. Okay, I changed the angle a little bit so I can have a little bit of headroom here. I don't want to be smacking my head on the camera while I'm trying to work. But like I was saying, there's quite a bit of work to be done around here and on the sides. So this foil, I don't know if you can see it in the camera. It's got some wrinkles in it, so it's been giving me some fits here the last few kits that I've done. So hopefully not today, but I do see a wrinkle right there that's going to be giving me a hard time. Alright, fellas, there it is. All finished up with the bare metal foil. I still have decals I have to do. And I tell you what, this color really, it's really nice. In one angle it looks like it's kind of black, and then in another the green shows. It's phenomenal. I love this color, and that foil really stands out against it. Alright, let's go ahead and get decals put on, windows put in, everything finished up. I'll see you at the final. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all, and welcome to the final on this 1979 Chevrolet Nova by MPC. Well, guys, let me start by saying, for an MPC kit, this one is actually a really nice one. The final fit and finish is really good. Well, with just a few noticeable flaws. And those would be that there are no hinges for the hood. It sits on the body pretty well. It fits. It looks good. It doesn't stick up or anything. But the slightest motion and the hood just simply falls off. Also, the attachment points for the front and rear bumpers, well, those could have been designed a little bit better. The rear bumper just has two small pins, and that's fine. It goes in pretty well, but the front bumper's just got a small tab in the dead center of it, and on the back side of what you see. and it just kind of attaches to the bottom of the body. And if you're not paying attention, you'll put it on crooked. So I noticed that when I started taking my still shots that you'll see at the end, I noticed that the bumper wasn't quite right, and I had to go back and fix that and reshoot all the pictures. But, you know, once you get those bumpers in place, they look pretty good. Next up is the decal sheet. Now, it's pretty expansive, like you've seen at the beginning of the video. Different striping packages, decals for your gauges and all kinds of stuff. But because I chose this dark color, they don't show up very well, except for the Nova badges on the fenders and the front and rear side marker light decals and the license plates. The rest of the name badges don't show up very well. They're on there, they're just not very very easy to see, and they don't like to stick down real well unless you use a decal setting solvent, which I had to use to get those to stay in place. So just a heads up, you may have to do that for your build. Overall, the body dimensions and alignment are pretty spot on with this kit. The body slid down over the chassis without a fight. Now the radiator support wall holds the chassis in the front end, and there's two small little bumps in the back, one on either side of the license plate, little indent, I guess you could say. That's where you put a couple of little dabs of glue and, you know, pop the chassis up in there, and it stays. I didn't have to pry on the body a whole bunch or anything crazy like that. It just slid right in place, and so did the interior. Now, as most of my builds go, I always do some research. I do a Google search and look for the actual one-to-one cars, and I look for things like paint colors, interior setups, how they're the colors of the interior goes, engine colors, that sort of thing. I look for that kind of information so that I have a little bit better idea on how I want to build my model kit. Now, I didn't find any, and I looked at probably 100 different cars. I didn't find a single one in this color. But it's not all that surprising, because this paint is actually, the lid's labeling it as a Ford color, but the can is labeling it as a Chrysler color. So obviously that wouldn't be found on a General Motors car. So I also was looking for how to do the chrome. Now the front and rear windows are pretty self-explanatory, but it was the side glass that I was wanting to look at. I wasn't sure if there was a chrome piece that went all the way from the back of the window on the side all the way to the front, you know, on the lower portion of the door and the lower portion of the window. It turns out that is broken, so that you have a piece that goes along the door glass and then a piece that goes along the side window for the back seat, and there's a broken spot in between where the B-pillar is at. Now, a lot of the cars that I looked at on the Google search, a lot of them didn't have the chrome. It was either painted over or it was missing. I could not find any pictures. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't find many pictures of the actual car in like a factory form. A lot of the cars had been modified or rebuilt, or they were junk sitting in a barn someplace, and a lot of those chrome pieces were either covered up or missing. So it was difficult to find actual pictures of the chrome. I did come across a couple and verified that how I did the bare metal foil chrome on this is the way it came from the factory. So hooray for bare metal foil. And I really like how it contrasts with the dark green paint. It actually kind of makes it pop, and I'm digging it. So I was also considering applying a second coat of clear on this, but I decided to leave it just with the single coat. It kind of has that 80s vibe going for it, shiny but not over the top. I left the wheels alone instead of applying the little dabs of black panel line into the centers. With those white letter tires, I think that it goes together well on this car, as well as the traction bars. You don't see those on many kits very often, but I think they add a little bit of authenticity to the car. So if you guys want an easy build that goes together well and looks good doing it, I can say that this one checks all the boxes. I realize that not all of you are particular fans of MPC kits, but I think that you'll like this one. So, here we are with another build. It's done. It's ready for the display case. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. It helps the YouTube algorithm to share my content. If you have any questions or comments, please write those in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to respond as soon as possible. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, or you can drop me a line at scaleoutaguy@gmail.com. If you liked the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, as well as the bell icon, so that you're made aware of my next video. Thanks for watching Scale Out a Guy's Workbench, and I'll see you on the next build.